Powerful group.
When leaders speak for change, change happens. The Hindustan Times Leadership Summit 2011.
मुझे बनाने का शौक था बचपन से और बड़े भैया को गिराने का। ताकत नहीं थी ना, डरता था। आज 20 साल बाद मैं इंजीनियर हूं। अब मेरी कोई भी बनाई हुई चीज किसी से नहीं डरती, क्योंकि आज मेरे पास ताकत है।
अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट, द इंजीनियर्स चॉइस, क्योंकि इस सीमेंट में जान है।
भैया अब गिरा के दिखाओ।
All over the world, cities are learning from other cities. Smarter technologies cut response times in Madrid, while monitoring water systems in Washington, D.C. Build off analytics that predict traffic in Singapore and help prepare for flooding emergencies in Rio. With 2,000 projects, IBM is helping make cities smarter. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet, city by city.
While markets take a break, ETNOW's weekend lineup gives you a head start on the week ahead. Realize your dreams by managing your personal finances on Investor's Guide. Learn if dead cats do really bounce back on Talking Technicals. Get the smartest trading ideas on your trades. Connect with the top strategists who are redefining the markets on Market Makers, and Stock Investments Simplified and Amplified on All About Stocks. Prepare for trading with ETNOW's weekend market shows only on ETNOW.
Welcome back. The big discussion is the agenda for Renewal at the ET Awards of Corporate Excellence. Well, we've got a very, very special panel, and we're beginning this segment with the world view in India. Mr. Adi Godrej, no longer a double-digit economy. Many ways that's making India's image a little less attractive. What's the world impression?
Well, fortunately, the impression of India outside is better than our impression within India. Clearly, despite this global gloom, we will have a 7.5% GDP growth this year. Next year, we could do much better. So clearly, we must be very focused on executing some of the good plans we do have in place. And early execution, quick execution, and successful execution is what we should pay attention to.
How much has corruption hit our ability to do and attract business, Zia Modi? You're part and parcel of most of the deals that we do. Just looking at the way how we have changed over the last 18 months as a country, how much of an impact have you seen?
Well, you know, the jury is out on corruption. So as a lawyer, obviously, somebody has to be proved before one can assume anything about any individual or a company. But I think the dent, if you like, because of the press, the way events have unfolded, people really been in jail for so long. I think the foreign investment mood is a little skittish. A lot of them are in wait and watch mode. They want to see how the system pans itself out on these issues.
Right.
And therefore, I think that, you know, the dollar, which perhaps would have come very easily to India, maybe we would have to struggle a bit more for that.
Okay, there's a bit of struggle out there, especially to get the dollars in. Pramod Bhasin, do you agree with our other panelists, Adi Godrej and Zia Modi? A little bit of a, I would say, sheen rub-off.
The world is nervous about India at this point in time. It's nervous about, will this government last and the stability of this government? What is going to happen? Who else will come in? Will they be different? How different will they be? Most importantly, though, the nervousness stems from saying, how long can you stretch this current infrastructure and current capabilities beyond its level? Look at our cities also, Shaili, and look at our capability facilities. Very few cities other than Delhi are really putting in infrastructure to deal with the new India. And yet, for India to make the progress it should, Bangalore needs to be 5 times its current size. Mumbai needs to be 5 times its current size. How are we going to get to these places? We're going to walk on top of all the cars that are stranded on the roadways because we don't have any other roadways.
Big crib on infrastructure, certainly, and if we can't attract enough dollars, then we're going to be in a bit of a soup on that one. Mr. Godrej, well, looking at just the way things are panning out, is there a sense of feeling victimized? Is India Inc. feeling that when it's time to ride on the piggy bank, the growth, the billionaire list, then it's India Inc. right on top, but when it comes to rate hikes, cutting growth incentives, India Inc. bears the big brunt?
Well, I have a slightly different view on the fight on inflation that the Reserve Bank has. I think we have raised rates far too much. We should take a pause, most definitely, and within a couple of months start getting the rates to come down. Another area where inflation has been exacerbated is by allowing the rupee to depreciate against other currencies quite considerably over the last month. I think the Reserve Bank should defend the rupee, and if we have the right policies in this direction, I think inflation will also come down.
Zia Modi, real problems of India Inc., inflation, rate hikes, and the more recent, some would say lip service reforms. I would like to know your view on the increase in the kind of hike that you can have on external commercial borrowings or reforms that help on the financial side. Do you think they're for real?
I think I would tend to agree that certainly North Bloc and the government has tried to do what steps it can to create the positive mood, even apart from the two that you have mentioned. Clearly, there are steps being taken by the Reserve Bank to liberalize the way in which shares get transferred, to ease the bureaucratic process of going to 2 regulators as opposed to just 1. So I think that there is certainly an intention for them to offer as much as they can on the table. I think that they will have to continue to do that, and I think that they see no downside in doing that. The real issue is how many steps can we get them to do quickly, whether they are small. I would be very comfortable if they produced many small steps, because the overall mood would then be overarchingly better than it is today.
Okay, take small steps as long. However, Rajan, there isn't quite a public sector, private sector logjam that you think, because at the end of the day, every time we say it should be PPP, but eventually it seems that there are some roadblocks which don't let proper execution to follow. What needs immediate redressal?
I think somewhere there, as we see today, there seems to be kind of a perception that things are not moving. So sometimes perceptions and reality may be quite very different. Sometimes we have to break that logjam. And if some announcements of the policy side could happen, including the FDI, I think that will change the sentiment, they'll change the mood, that will bring, that we are back on track, and things will start looking better thereafter.
Okay. Mr. Godrej, is India a victim of poor governance and it's really badly timed according to you? Are we now facing what will be a situation where if governance doesn't change, then anything else that we do, including growth, is not going to be seen in the right light?
Well, of course, but we are also benefiting from some of the good policies over the last 20 years, so we shouldn't forget that. But clearly, governance can improve, and I don't think we should just point fingers at the government. India Inc. can improve its own internal performance through better techniques, etc. So I think we should not start finger pointing too much, help each other. India Inc. can certainly advise the government in which directions we want to do. Recently, the government has had several meetings with India Inc. and are taking some of the steps that are required. But we need to execute faster, quicker and more efficiently.
Zia Modi, he says that of course there's a two-way street out there. Don't necessarily blame the government for everything. What do you feel? Are we a victim of poor governance or not?
I wouldn't say, it's leaderless at all. But I do think that there is a perception, especially from the world abroad, that perhaps we are not in as much control of our destiny as we should be. That certain events have left the government somewhat on the back foot, from which they are taking steps to recover and move forward and provide what they think is the agenda of the season. But the mood, definitely, if you look at something that was felt 3 years ago where everybody was talking about this is the economy to be in, the mood is more muted now.
Okay, we may not be leaderless, but certainly the mood is muted. We want better governance. Zia Modi, would you put it strongly, at least for the next 2 quarters, that this is going to be pain more than performance?
I think there will be pain. I'm not sure there'll be so much of a dislocation between pain and performance. But I think, yes, the pain levels will be fairly high.
All right, very cautious, but there's a slight hint of optimism in Zia Modi's voice. Mr. Godrej, 3 priority items on your list.
Well, I think first, passage of the goods and services tax. Number 2, get all permissions done through the automatic route. Not just single window, we should have a no window policy. And thirdly, we should pay a lot of attention to skill building and training.
Okay, skill building. Use the demographic dividend to our favor. Rajan Mittal, final question. Have we truly lost the sheen of the India story? Has fear set in to that extent that roadblocks have become the norm?
No, I wouldn't say. We've been talking to a whole lot of people outside. As I said, our sustainable, intact story remains. Certain hiccups cannot become the norm, and that should not be looked in that way. We must, move ahead, put everything, all of these issues behind us, and look for a brighter future.
Okay. On that optimistic note, I'm going to close this show. Gentlemen and Ms. Modi, thank you very much for joining us. The agenda for renewal, that is the big focus, as ET Now brings you a special series ahead of the Economic Times Awards for Corporate Excellence. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Australia has been very kind to me. I've actually had a wonderful experience in Australia. I've been able to strive to what I've always wanted. I've always dreamt of having my own restaurant. The best things about Australia, its landscape, the people, the natural beauty, it's breathtaking, almost too real to be true. The Australian people, warm, inviting, friendly, ever so magnanimous. There's so much to offer. There's so many things to see. It's fantastic.
5 lakh people have got relief from teeth sensitivity after using Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief.
I think it's amazing.
Pain went away immediately. The pulling sensation that was there earlier, now it's not happening.
Now I can have cold food. I can have imli. My pain is gone. Finally, I've got something for my sensitive teeth.
Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief. It seals and repairs open tubules for instant relief from sensitivity pain. Brush every day for lasting results. Now you too can get instant and lasting relief from sensitivity. Try Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief and prove it to yourself.
Model of a modern global airline. An ambitious mission we remind ourselves of all the time. Flying more than ever with a flock of new planes in our fleet. You'll be greeted once you're seated by many captains just like me. Call the ground force for a reason. We're machine-like in the way we work. Keyless check-in, engineering, traffic handling, baggage clerks. Passengers with preferences get fragilized inside and by operations on evac keeps every aspect synchronized.
On your journey, there's up in the air, we'll handle every hassle. Great for kids and seniors, to tourists and multinational.
Our service is so popular, we're flying international. Our service is so popular, we're flying international. We will remind ourselves now one more time with each and every single flight. We're here to be the model of a modern global airline. Every time we fly, we will ensure that you will have your touch.
अमर आज नाराज है, कहता है हम कोई उसे समझ ही नहीं पाए। अगर ट्रकिंग में ही लाना था तो एमबीए क्यों करवाया? पर कभी कभी कुछ चीजें सोच बदल देती हैं।
महिंद्रा नेविस्टा बदल रहा है भारतीय ट्रकिंग को। नई सोच, नई उम्मीद और नए नजरिए से।
अब आएगा और कहेगा, पापा, यू आर ग्रेट, थैंक्स।
This week, we head to Pune Connect for the Starting Up Showdown, a face-off between 4 disruptive product startups. The prize, entry into the next round, Super Angels. All this and more on Starting Up, only on ET Now.
Brought to you by LG Optimus Smartphones. Murugappa, 29 businesses, one powerful group.